Dialogues can help you add depth to your story. It can be a source of conflict in your story. You can use it to like do confrontations, agreements, disagreements, misunderstandings, tension. Yes, it can help you do that. It can help you advance your story. It means where your characters interact with themselves. So dialogue is very, very important in screenplay. And before we go into the art of dialogue writing in a screenplay, I want you to know this first. If you've gone through the classes in this course, I know that you would have come across one of the classes. I'm not going to like say it, but I want you to go and watch it. So you would have come across one of the classes where I said that films, yes, films could go without dialogues. You can write a film, you can shoot a film, you can produce a film, and there will be no one dialogue in that film. And it means that you have to like be very expert description writer. Your actions, your descriptions must be very, very good. And the director of that film should also be a very good storyteller to be able to direct it in such a way that you, the audience that is watching, will understand what is going on without anybody speaking in that film. Now, let's put that aside and talk about the art of dialogue writing. Like I said, let me say this before I start with the rules and the regulations in dialogue writing, because if I start with the rules first, you'll be so bored. But let's go with this. Now, in real life, when people talk in real life, you understand that people have their tone, they have their style. Some persons that are not versed in grammar, they have the way they speak. And that is what also, if you're telling a story, depending on the setting of the story, depending on probably, yes, the setting generally, because you may want to say, okay, you may be telling a story about a middle class person. The way the person will communicate will be different from the person that is from a very, very low background. It will also be different from the way the rich carry themselves. So it should also be portrayed in your dialogue. You have to make your dialogue have a natural feel. You have to make your dialogue have this natural, as in things that are also in tune with the setting that you're writing in. Because sometimes when you're writing, like I would always tell my writers, just your first draft, just be writing it. Be writing it. There's no problem. Because basically people are not like interested in grammar. Because if you say you want to like start checking grammars before you write, but just your first drafts, make sure that you pour it out, then you can start downsizing and editing. Now back to what we are saying, make sure that your dialogues, let them have a very free flow and make them spicy. Yes, because when your dialogues are spicy, when your dialogues are like catchy, it makes the story interesting. You get, makes the story very, very interesting. But when your dialogues are boring, people will be like, why is this person talking like this? Why is this person talking like that? It's from the dialogue, it's from the screenplay. That's why I say you, the screenwriter, you, the storyteller, you are the one that has the blueprint of the story. The story is from the script. A good film is from the script. If the script is not good, there is no amount of editing, there is no amount of CGI and VFX that will make it, you understand? So you just have to like work very well on the story to make an impact on your audience. Every line of dialogue must have this layer of information, this layer of emotion, this layer of characterization. And what do I mean? And this is where I would always want my writers, I will always want you to use subtext in your dialogues. Now, let's talk about the emotion. If you're telling a story and you want your audience to fear with your character, to love your character, to pity your character, to go on this adventure with your character, you should know how to add emotion. You should know how to add emotion to your dialogues. And if you want to advance a story, especially when probably you're writing for a budget and there are no much locations, as in you're just writing for a budget, you should know how to sprinkle information that advances the story. Sprinkle information that advances the plot. You understand? You should be able to sprinkle it in the dialogues. It should be also characterizations. Like some persons, they have this in Toastmasters. There are something that when people talk, they try to help you reduce your filler words. Like when you're saying, like me, I still have it. Like, I'll be like, you understand. So there are some persons, or maybe your character, you want them to have this characterization. Like maybe somebody will be talking, you'll be like, everything she says, everything she says, it's a good thing. You should also, it will help you like distinguish your character. It makes your characters distinct. I like it. I personally like it. It makes your character distinct. It's a kind of motif that you're giving to your character. It's a kind of like personal identity that you're giving to a character. Maybe this is how the character talks. Maybe this is the character's filler words. So your dialogue should contain that kind of characterization. And subtext, before I I won't forget, I know, but subtext, what do I mean by subtext? Is knowing how to like add some spiciness to your story through the art of dialogue without making it so obvious. Without making it obvious. Now, let's take for instance, there are two characters. You're writing a story on some characters, and probably the main character is trying to vie for a position, a political position. And because she wants to vie for a political position, it comes with some, you have to like rebrand yourself, some sort of. And she rebrands herself. Whenever she gets a nose job, her hair is now better. She has to go and do hair transplant. She looks more vivacious and everything. And some persons are discussing her in the story. They won't like, don't make your character say, she don't go do boob job. She don't go do nose job. No. This new look of this lady. Is this actually what politics portend? And this other person will be like, that's too expensive of a body to get. I don't think I can do that. You understand? Let's not like say she has a nose job, she has a boob job. Let's try to like add subtext to the story. Add subtext to the story. Now, instead of, okay, let's take for instance, probably somebody's boyfriend is cheating, and the friend now saw that boyfriend, caught the boyfriend somewhere and everything. And instead of, when she goes to this her other friend to like relay that kind of information, instead of saying, do you know that I saw your boyfriend? Instead of saying that, you can make the dialogue like, let it sway and swerve to a point where even when this person is telling the story of her boyfriend, how the boyfriend traveled and has been sending her pictures of where he is vacationing, and you'll be like, you said he traveled. Has he come back? No, he's still there. He even sent me some pictures this morning. This morning? Are you sure? Look, my friend Regina, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'll say it anyway because I love you. What do you mean? Can you listen to me? I'm listening. What do you mean? Okay, I want to show you something. And she goes, opens her phone and starts swiping. And this one here, you're seeing the pictures and you'll be like, God have mercy. She's looking at the pictures, unbelievable. You say, no, I don't believe this. What is this? Stop it. Anybody can use AI to do anything. Please, don't come and spoil my relationship. And the person just brings out an AI detector, something that you can, a site where one can detect whether the picture is AI or not. Opens it, say, go ahead and verify. Go ahead and just verify if this was AI. open the details, and because you have to make your characters, this is a tech world, you have to make your characters like advanced, like they know what is going on. They know what is going on. You can check the metadata of a picture to know where it was taken, to know when it was taken, to just make your characters. I'm just saying, but make your characters be more 21st century. You understand? So what was I saying? Subtext. She didn't just come and say, "Hey, I caught him more." Hey, hey, hey. No. Yes, I know that there are some persons that are actually like that, but sometimes when we are writing 21st century stories, we have to like also understand 21st century realities. Yes, we may not have VR technologies that everybody is wearing about and everything, but and when writing dialogues, try to keep it as short as possible. Try to keep it as short as possible. If it's like everyday thing, try to keep it as short as possible, except your character is doing a monologue, or maybe trying to express some emotional tantrums, some rants. You can make it a bit long, but try to keep it as short as possible. And when you're also writing dialogues, like you see newbie screenwriters and you be like, you just know there are certain elements, no matter how the person is a very, very good writer, expresses themselves well, very visual and everything. But you will just know, because if or if we were talking, let's take for instance, your name is Regina. You that is watching me, let's take for instance, your name is Regina. When you say, okay, you talk to me and I say, Regina, do you know what happened today? No, I didn't. Regina, if I told you what happened today, no, hey, please tell me. Oh, Regina, don't try it though. Hey, if I tell you what happened today, oh, go ahead and tell me. Please, nobody talks like that in real life. We already know the names of the character. They know themselves. You can, in fact, the more close that the people are, you can give them nicknames, some fond names that they call themselves, but don't let your character be calling the name of the other person too frequently. Yes, we all made that mistake, so forget, we all made that mistakes. Even now that I'm writing, sometimes in my first draft, I would see those mistakes. It's just best probably when you are in that your flow state. When in your flow state, you are writing, you're putting down everything in your head. You understand? It is very, yes, put it down. The way it's coming, be writing it. But when you come back to it, when you come to revise it, that is when you just make your dialogues as compressed and as short as possible. Your dialogue is not a speech. Nobody will just be listening. A character will be there. This one will talk speech, then this one will not reply with a speech. This one will talk speech. This one will no. Nobody is there for long speeches. Make your dialogues as short, as scripty, as spicy as possible. And again, in real life, the way I talk, even okay, I have 5 siblings. We are 6. I have 5 siblings. We don't all talk the same way. We are born of the same parents, but we don't all talk the same way. Yes, our education may have been similar, but we have different and distinct way we express ourselves. You get? So that is how you should also tell your stories. Your characters should have distinct tones. Distinct tones, as in, let it be very distinct. Nobody will talk the same way. The way an army talks and the way a medical doctor will relay a medical information is very different. And for your character, the way maybe they talk to their children, and the way they talk to their parents, and the way they talk to their bosses, and the way they talk to people outside there should also be a mix to it. Even if your character is a rebel, that's true. Even if your character is a rebel, Your character is a rebel, cannot just go to the office and start fighting the boss. They will throw them out of the premises. And suppose he needs that job to be able to like advance the plot of your story, what will you do? You understand? The way your character, no matter how rebellious, how hardened your character is, if they have a child in that story, there is a way a parent relates with a child. You understand? So as you are getting your distinct voice for your character, make sure that every other character in that story do not sound the same as your character. Even if they are all friends, maybe four main girls, they won't sound the same. They won't sound the same. If somebody is sleeping and they hear a line, they'll be like, okay, is this character that is saying it? Hey, is this character that said this? So don't let your characters sound the same. Let your characters sound different. Give them motifs in dialogues. Give them motifs in dialogues. Give them motifs in dialogues. It is very, 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 very essential. Just give them motifs in dialogues. Bonus tip for you to know how your characters are sounding. When you finish writing, try to read your work aloud. Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but try to read it aloud. It will help you know they are sounding alike, they are replying alike. The way I'm choosing their words is kind of alike. So try to read your words aloud, read those dialogues aloud. You would definitely pinpoint that, okay, they are sounding alike and I have to like do something about it. And as it pertains to setting in a story, if you're writing a story that is like maybe a young adult story, teenager story, children's story, you should also like research and know how they talk, how they converse. Like if you're writing a story that involves maybe Gen Alpha and Gen Z, with all these Gen Z slangs and Gen Z languages that are here now, you should be able to infuse it in their dialogues. Let's know that these people or this group of people, they are of the same generation. They understand themselves. If you're writing the story of millennials, somebody like me, millennials, there is how we communicate. Even if we are even if we are so polished, there is a form of communication that how we communicate will understand ourselves. After all of us grow now. You understand? We didn't just like they didn't just bear us today and we get up to this age today. We grew, we went to schools, primary, secondary, university, and there are certain language. There was how we used to communicate. You can infuse it in the story. The older generation, there is what you can. The older generation, like except the person is a teacher, you can, and a teacher in a school teaching some Gen Z people, you can infuse some Gen Z slangs. You can say, okay, probably this teacher is trying to like connect more with his students. But another generation, somebody will not be saying, oh, slay, Reese, and so many other slangs. No. So you should be able to like know the age bracket of the people that are in your story. That's why I talked about character Bible. Go back to that class. Go back to that class and listen to it. That's why I talk about having character Bible. You know the age of your character. You know, you give them distinct traits in that story and you move with that. So whatever you've written in your character Bible, you move with it and it makes your story very flavorful. It makes it so beautiful. So just know how your people talk. And like I said earlier, the relationship dynamics in the story. The way a parent will talk to a child is not the way a rebellious child will talk to the parent. It's not the way the parent will talk to the boss. As in, just know the relationship dynamics. It will also help you spice up your dialogues. If something happened and a character is relaying it to their boss, it will be different. If she's relaying it to her mother, different. If she's relaying it to a young child and trying to like let the child understand the situation of things at hand, it will be so different, very, very different. I hope I know that I'm making sense. I know I'm making sense. And like I said, you can come to the Telegram group. I'll put the link there. Come to the Telegram group. I dropped some nuggets, some very, very good gems in the Telegram group. And also, you can reach me via email. Let's talk. Reach me via email. Go to the About section of this channel. Reach me via email if you have any problem with writing your story, if you're facing any difficulties in writing your story, or you just want somebody that you can conference with over your story, you can reach me. And yes, I charge a very, very reasonable price. You will not be disappointed at the outcome. So now I think I will talk about the rules of dialogue writing in the next video, so that we don't make this particular video very long. But from what I have said, I know that you'll be able to like understand that when you're writing your dialogues in your screenplay, you should be mindful of the vocabulary, you should be mindful of the relationship dynamics, you should be mindful of the age of the characters, you should be mindful of just a lot of things, and use subtext a lot in your dialogues. It will help your audience too. You know, the audience, they don't want you to just, when your audience, when they can predict your next move or your next word in a story, it bores them. They'll be like, that's why you hear something that's like, not be Nollywood story. That one you don't know the the end from the beginning. So using subtext in your dialogues to help you, it helps your story spicier. And I hope you go, if this is your first class that you're watching, please go to the other classes, watch them. If you have your questions, contact me. Go to the About section of this channel, contact me, and ensure that you stick around for more on this course, everything screenwriting.